Okay, we're about to plant seeds now. We're going to plant some peas. These are pea seeds, and if you take a look here, they are peas. They're dried peas. Peas are seeds. And we're going to prepare those seeds with some inoculant. So I'm going to show you how this works, okay? But first, let me tell you about peas. They are a special kind of plant called a legume. Legumes also include beans, like green beans and soybeans and kidney beans, and other kind of plants too, like vetch. And what makes them unique is that their roots actually add nitrogen to the soil. And nitrogen is the element that makes plants green. It's what plants need to stay really healthy. So as you're growing legumes like peas, you're adding nitrogen to the soil and making the next plants that you put in there, like lettuce or some other leafy green vegetable, really, really healthy and strong and delicious. So they work well in two ways. This is what's called inoculant. It's actually bacteria. And one of the other unique things about legumes is if you treat them with an inoculant, which means if you cover them with this bacteria first before you plant them, their roots make 30 to 40% more nitrogen. That makes the peas more healthy and you get more peas, but it also puts more nitrogen into the soil for the next crop. So I always treat my beans and peas with this inoculant first. Let me show you how that works. I just open up the bag here. You can see that this inoculant is really just a black powder. And I don't really get too scientific with it, maybe about a tablespoon or so. This is alive, this is a living thing, so I'm going to keep this in the fridge now so it stays alive. And inoculant goes bad pretty quick because this is actually trillions maybe of little tiny bacteria. I'm going to put in the peas that I'm going to plant. I don't know how many I'm going to plant yet, so I'm not going to put in the whole bag. I'll start with half a bag. This is 1 pound of seeds, so about half a pound of peas or so. And then, follow me over here to the spigot. I'm just going to add the slightest amount of water, just a few drops to wet things down. And because I want the inoculant to stick. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my hands in there and just get messy. As with so many things in the garden, it's just a bit of a mess. And I want all these seeds to have a little bit of this black inoculant on them before I plant them. Just like this. You see that? I'm making like this slurry. And the trick is not to have too much water so they stick. And now these peas are ready to plant. I have my peas. I have my bed. We're all ready to go, finally. There's no real one way to do this. I like to spread my peas out. I'll just take a small handful, and everywhere I prepared a bed, I'll just sort of drop them in. And I'm looking for peas to be about 3 or 4 inches apart from each other. I want them kind of dense, but not too dense. And before I lose track of where those peas are, what I'll do is I'm going to use my finger and I'm going to get them about first knuckle deep into the soil, maybe even a little bit more, because I know there's rain coming. And I don't want these peas to work themselves out of the ground before they have time to take root. So I'll use my finger and I'll just start pressing each of these peas fairly deep down into the soil here. And if I see they're too close together, I'll spread them out. And I'm putting them almost second knuckle deep because this soil is so soft and because I know there's rain coming and I want them to stay in the ground until they germinate, which means begin to grow. And then once I've done that, like this, then I'll just kind of work some soil over like that. And I'll give them a good pat down, keep them in there. And with the rain that's coming and the cool weather, these things should be up in about a week. Look at that. You can see about how far away the peas are. I've pushed them all in one by one. Took about 20 minutes to do this 15-foot bed. Now I'm going to pack them in. And I got one final step. Planting peas here on the farm is to take these wire wickets that I've made. They serve many purposes, but for peas, they act as a trellis. A trellis supports the vine. And these peas are vines. They're short vines, maybe 2.5 or 3 feet tall at most, but if I don't support them with something, by the time they get to be about this tall, they'll all just kind of droop over, and then all your peas are dirty and lying on the ground, and the bugs get at them. So you like to keep your peas upright, especially when they get heavy and laden with actual pea pods. So all I do is I take these wire wickets, which are also 30 inches, and starting at the beginning of the bed, I just put them in so they're about a foot off the ground, just like that. And I'm going to go every couple of feet all the way down the bed, and they'll just be something for the vines to grab onto to stay upright. So when the wind blows or they get too heavy, they won't fall over, and the peas stay clean and easy to pick. There you have it, one pea bed ready to grow. Now, if you're a gardener, you might be saying to yourself, wait a second, Mr. G, you forgot one critical step. What about watering in the seeds? Because normally, as soon as you put seeds in the ground, you get them soaking wet and you water them in to create good contact between the soil and the seed, because it's the water that's going to start them growing. However, this is March and the soil's pretty wet as it is, and it's going to rain tomorrow, and it's going to do all that work for me, so I don't need to take the hose out and get myself all muddy and wet. I am going to let nature do that tomorrow. So I'm going to leave them just as they are, and they're going to do great.